How did you get involved with the project, Abby?
I met Alice as a costume trainee on a film that was filmed like in Dumfries and Galloway. I'd never had any experience, I just like taught myself. When I got a sewing machine when I was like 10, I had no idea what I was doing, so a lot of it was just making it up as I went along. The opportunity to work on the film came up and I just decided to do it. After that, we just sort of stayed in touch but didn't really think any more of it. And then Alice messaged me that they got funding for this project and that if I wanted to, I could come on as a project assistant.
Why does this exhibition exist? What's its purpose?
In Glasgow there was like a big textiles industry in the past and that's all pretty much gone now. Alice is one of the only bespoke tailors in Glasgow left. So this sort of combines like the past, and French Street used to be a weaving factory and a carpet factory and all sorts of things. It's all sort of gone, but I think it's really important that these things are kept alive to like showcase bespoke tailoring techniques as like an art form as well as a craft.
The dye-in art, I suppose, in a way, is in the textile industry. There's not much of it in Scotland, whereas years and years and years ago it was such a we were recognised throughout the world for it as an industry. So it's nice to see it still living, and hopefully there's a bright future for it as well.
There's so much to learn and so much to know that it definitely takes a long time. So each piece has its own building. Some of them are still in use and some of them are derelict. This is a piece inspired by St Anne's Church in Denniston. I think Alice was very inspired by the arches, hence like the sleeves. Looking at it, I think it's quite like simple, but you don't really think of all the different processes. Like, I think it definitely took the longest to make. The sleeves are waxed silk with broom petals trapped in them, individually sewn on strips. And then on the back there was like a fan which I worked on. The silk's dyed by daffodils for the gloves, and it's lots of layers as well. One of the first things I worked on was the yellow dress underneath. I completely like constructed that, which was the first thing I've ever like made with the right techniques. So I was like in the deep end, but in a good way. All of the facings on the inside are hand sewn. Lots of hand sewing in this, which I've discovered through the project is like my favourite. I love it. It never even occurred to me, like I think when you learn to sew you're just like, oh, sewing machine, you need one, but you don't. Like, people have been hand sewing forever. So this piece is inspired by Barrowfield Weaving Factory, which is now Strangefield, which is the gallery, like this gallery. I helped dye the wool with madder to create the like orange colour, which is inspired by the bricks. The blue is inspired by the sort of decorative bricks on the front of the building. They're all pressed forget-me-nots, and blue organza, which has been like threads have been extracted from to make it look more see-through. The lining and the gloves are red, inspired by turkey red, which was a dye that was famous for being made in Glasgow. We like took a pattern off of a pair of already existing gloves, but that was the first sort of piece of pattern cutting I'd ever done. So that was really exciting to get to do.
What are your next steps after this exhibition finishes?
Yeah, so we got money from the Galloway Association of Glasgow, as well as a training bursary from Heritage Craft to continue training with Alice, which is really exciting.